fear addicted as I get illustrated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm the bitch you hated, bitch infatuated. Yeah. I'm the plate you tasted, very intoxicated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter.
Hello, good afternoon, happy Saturday. So I am not going to be on camera for this one. In fact, I'm not even really going to be here that long. I wanted to come and speak to you guys about something that I found out about myself. Hey, smarty girl, about myself and about the spirit world. Okay, and the real reason why a lot of people have a repeating negative cycle in their relationships. Now, if you're somebody that has the same repeat, where you just feel like it's just something that keeps repeating over and over and over again, this is what I call a demonic spiritual loop, is what I call it. And so there's a lot of people, including myself. So a lot of people will say, well, hey, what you do about what your problem was? Well, you know, it wasn't a priority to me because I was told for so many years that it shouldn't be a priority. But I realized that this same negative cycle would play out not only within my friendships, but also with men, the men in my life. And that is when I started to realize, because I established my business in 2013. So I've been in business for 5 years. And if you have something that's been afflicting your life, your whole life, it's going to take a little while usually to mend that or to fix it. So everybody, here's my theory. You don't have to accept it, but everybody comes into this world with a certain set of spirits, right? And those are your personal spirit guides, your personal guardians, your personal protectors. Some of those spirits that you can already be brought in with can be attached to you. Okay? They're already attached to you. So I have a theory, and it's not the same for everyone. But some of you guys have certain enchantments and curses placed upon you. Okay. Now, the biggest one is religion. That's the biggest one, because they actually capitalize off of your pain, right? That's pretty much what religion, most religions do. Get you all scared, and they capitalize off of your pain forever, for the rest of your life. And then even into your afterlife and then your next life, which is why it's so important for us to break these cycles. Because what is happening is that your spirit, which is your root chakra, wants something. It needs something. It wants something. It has to have something. But then a lot of people have these spirits that are attached to them that say, no, you can't have that, because this is you know, what you've been born into or either what you've been born with. And so what those spirits will do is that when certain things happen in your life, which this can play out if you start your own business, or this can also play out in a relationship, okay? And what they do is they work against what it is that you desire. And then it also tells you, well, you shouldn't desire this. You should just be humble and accept this. But in reality, what ends up happening is that those negative spirits are feeding off of you and other people every step of the way. So there's a lot of people that date a lot. They just date. And what they're doing is they're leaving like a trail of burning bridges behind them. And to where, you know, your spiritual energy can actually hurt other folks. It can. And spirit works like that. Okay? Spirit definitely works that way. There are certain things that can be put on you as well. And this is a big one, right? This is a big one. So if you look at this situation from a biblical standpoint, it's always the woman and the children. Those are the chattel or the cattle or the property, and they are very valuable. They are considered valued by their property for what that person can either do physically, spiritually, or mentally for other people. So not just biblically, but historically, these very toxic religions, they hold people hostage, is what they do. Okay? They hold people hostage. And it starts to play out as a never-ending repeating cycle in your relationship, to the point where it had actually got so bad with me where I couldn't help but to notice it and understand what was going on. Okay? Hold on a second, you guys. Hold on. I apologize for that. My cat just gave birth. And my son is making meow noises like the cat, like the kittens. So weird. Anyway. So historically, especially when it comes to women, we are considered property. And if any outside force takes away that property or that value of that property, then they're going to be concerned. This is why many of you are tied to your family, which includes your father, your uncles. They don't care who it is. They don't care if it's the most insane person or sane person. As long as they keep that control, that's the only thing that matters to them. So what ends up happening is that you're an energy body, right? You're an energy body. And I do believe in interdimensional beings. I do believe in other beings that have came into our reality. And I do believe in time travel. Okay. But what they end up doing is you end up in these situations that are meant to hurt you, that are meant to cause duress, that are meant to cause stress. And a lot of these demons will either feed off of that energy or they will be feeding off of it. But at the same time, it's just what it is. You are the property. Hey, Kesha. Hello. That's crazy. Me and my boyfriend broke up recently due to him and his ex recently seeing each other at her father's funeral. And I felt then that something was going on. Yeah. If this is a repeating cycle in your life, then 9 times out of 10, you are caught up in a curse. That's pretty much what it is. It's a curse on everything that you want. And there's even instructions in some of the Bibles on how to deal with this loneliness and this isolation that these negative spirits will put you in. They'll put you in isolation. Yeah, they will. It's, in particular, those spirits that are created, they have been being created, okay, generationally. They've been getting created and invoked over and over again to the point where you feel like you are literally trapped and you feel like there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. And this includes love and money, but in particular with relationships. This is where they get people. This is where they get people. For example, you know, a couple gets married, they move into a brand new house, and then lo and behold, they're being haunted by spirits. And I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on? And they don't really understand what's going on. They don't understand why they can't move out to the middle of the jungle and be okay, because these spirits follow you everywhere you go. So they're going to constantly cause bickering, arguments, disagreements, foul feelings, ignorance, debates, going back and forth. And there's no debate when it comes to love. See, people are trying to debate on what love is, but most people know what their ideal deep down is of what love is in their life. But these entities will sneak up on you and they'll say, no, this is what it is. And they are very clever. Yes, they do use people. This is why every time you get into a relationship, your friends get jealous. They want to shy away from you. And you'll even notice that this is a repeating cycle in your relationships, because nobody around you will have a stable relationship. Nobody, right? And the first thing that they do is blame the woman. And I agree, because women have more power and control than they think. Okay, because a lot of y'all, when y'all think it, that's what you are, and you're manifesting that all the time. In fact, I will even see people that will work towards sabotaging their own relationships. They'll work towards it constantly, because it'll be a spirit that will take over them. So I wish that it were as simple as saying, you know, I'm not going to let this do this to me anymore. But a lot of times it is some kind of spiritual contract. This is why these spirits are able to be attached to you. And a lot of the people that hold this contract, the people that hold it, because they have an interest. Okay, they have an interest right now. It would be no reward for your family to stay together. In fact, even when we talk about the system, when we get deep, when you get the Division of Family Services involved, they get a bonus for that. It's federally funded money that they get, but it's very different, but it's very similar. When it comes to spirits, when you lose, they win sometimes. And most of the time, it's all the time, because see, they get to feed off of that. And everybody is speculating that it's reptilian in nature, because they say that the reptilians are the ones, when they torture a child, a baby, or a human being, it doesn't matter how old you are, they can get a certain amount of energy. I don't care if you drink every day, your liver and kidneys is failing. And that's one of the reasons why your liver and kidneys are failing. Okay, that's one of the reasons why. But I don't care what state of being you are in, there are interdimensional beings that are feeding off of that situation. And this is the reason why you have to go through great lengths to remove it. This is why. And you can move all off somewhere. You can go and try to get away. It'll follow you. So a lot of people will say, oh my God, I wish I could go here, or I wish I could go there. You know, people in the United States, you know, they call us, you know, they look down upon us. But to be honest with you, whatever spirit you have, they gonna follow you. They gonna follow you. And it's not even necessarily spirits that came from the United States. It's spirits that you were born with, because you've repeated this cycle over and over again, even in other lifetimes. It's been a repeating cycle. And some of y'all beat it in the last lifetime, so you're going to beat it in this one. But some of y'all lost terribly in the previous life or the previous. And I do believe in past lives. Absolutely. Okay. So I was going to talk about my spirit board that I have on the way, but I'm going to wait until it gets here. And I'm actually going to be, after I consecrate it and use it for my own personal use or business use, then I will do sessions live, or either I'll record spirit board sessions for each zodiac sign. So I can't wait to do that. I got a really, really nice spirit board on its way, and it has a wolf on it. So spirit was like, no, you get the one with the wolf on it. And because that's my protection totem, the wolf animal totem is my protection. So the spiritual reason is because the spiritual reason why those occurrences are happening to you is so that somebody else can benefit. Now, when you talk about witchcraft and love spells, you can be a happily married woman, and another witch or woman can go to a witch and say, I want this lady's husband. So I'm going to do a breakup on them, and I want to bring him to me. Okay. And that is something that can happen. So you have to determine what it is, because you may not have that issue. You may not necessarily have that in your bloodline, but in this lifetime, if a witch does that to you, especially if you got children and a house with this person, they done ran all off somewhere, they said, I ain't never coming home, I done miss sunshine, then, that's going to start something generationally. So a lot of people, I'll tell them, you have a generational hex. And they'll say, well, wait a minute, my grandparents were. It does not matter. You can start a generational hex. You can start it. It can start in this lifetime. Yes, it can. Okay. In fact, it's one of the most popular ones, because our parents, who were the baby boomers, they probably did have more stable relationships. They claim that it's because the man was in control, blah, 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 blah. That's not what it was. Because they gave birth to an entire nation of children that were meant to go on a different path. So, especially if you have parents that are interfering, you're not supposed to interfere. You're not. You're not supposed to interfere with that. You can only guide them, but to interfere with them, no, you should not do that, because there are certain specific lessons that people are supposed to learn. If you're consistently taking the lesson away from them, then they'll never learn. So that can be very dangerous. So you don't want to necessarily do that. You want to take away the bad, you do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. But see, here's the thing though. You've got to know the steps to take spiritually, because a lot of people are constantly stuck on what they can see. It's not about what you can see. It's about what you can't see. Okay. It's not about what you can see, but it's about what you're not able to see. So the whole point of this is to trick you, right? You have no idea that this is going on. You just think people are bad. And that's the general consensus of everybody. They'll say, oh, this world is just bad. People are just bad and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's true that life is what you make it. And there's a lot of people, who have the life that they want. They're not necessarily on YouTube talking about it, but they do have that life that they want. Okay. And everybody can have the life that they want. Everybody. Okay. When it comes to love spells are about possession a lot of the times. So this is where you can see a man that his entire life he's been doing certain stuff. But then a witch can call on the spirit of a male to possess him so that his physical body can be her mate. Happens all the time. And so a lot of women will say, oh, there's a male shortage. No, it's not. There's not a man shortage. It's not. That's a lie. Okay. It's a total lie. That's a part of the programming. So that's to make women believe that I don't have any other choice. I have to accept this. And that's actually not true. Okay. But I'm getting off the subject. And I don't have a lot of time, guys, so I'm trying to articulate this in the most clearest way possible without taking a long time, okay? So it's either, it can be several different things. It can either be a witch that then work on your man, okay? That of which can be reversed very easily. You just have to come and get a reversal. Kesha, I would suggest that you do a reversal because I believe that it's somebody doing work. And it's only temporary. I can feel that it's only temporary because, you know, if somebody's meant to be together, they're going to come back together regardless. It's either that or it could be your own spirits that you were born with, or it could be spirits that were put on you after you were born to protect the tribe, to protect your father, to protect your brothers, because, you know, they all stand in judgment of each other. And the judgment of you is going to be the judgment of them because they're very codependent on that, right? So they're going to they will use spiritual means to do it, absolutely. But they can have so much power and control over you, which is why witchcraft is really the only way out. When you have a family like that, to where the male energy is very oppressive to the point where, you know, all of the women in the family are poor. All of the women in the family are on welfare and food stamps. All of the women in the family are not doing well. They're not. And it is because these males keep them in that bondage, right? It is. Okay. And if I had $1 for every male practitioner that was out there, well, I do have $1 for because there's a lot of them that you don't know about. Okay. Most men have what is called the Bible, which is a book of spells. And they use that. And they use that energy. They get together. They have covens. Okay, where they do spiritual work on you. That's where they're at when they say that they out playing pool. Now they was somewhere doing some magic. So what you have to do as a woman or as a man, because there are some families where the women, there is mainly matriarchs, and the women hold the men hostage. So it can happen the same way for men, not just women, to where you are subservient to this woman in your family that needs you. Okay, she has a need for you as a man. They have a need for the males in the family. And in order to protect their need and their want, they have to have that man to where his relationships outside of that family have to be flimsy, up and down, and unstable. So that is the spiritual reason. Now, it's a stupid reason because it's all about codependency. It is, because these people, the reason why they have to do that is because they don't have either the energy or either it's a low, heavy spirit is what they have. They just real heavy. They got a lot of baggage that they need to let go of that they don't know how to let go of. So what they do is they latch on and they attach to the males or the females in the family to sustain them. And what they do is they go out, they either get relationships that are not worth a damn, you know, or they usually go out and they get with floozies that ain't gonna mean them no good, so that they can continue to be codependent. Okay, now if you're somebody that just doesn't care, you like, nah, I'm just gonna give my whole life to my mama or my auntie or my cousin. Hey, that's on you, but there's some people that don't want that. Now, the problem is that when these people see other people coming out of that, this is where the crab in the barrel mentality will come out, because they're like, no, I can't have that. I'm subservient. I am the servant of a narcissist. So I have to make sure that you are too. And so this is when they begin to build teams against you, to the point where, you know, when they find out about your relationship, as soon as they find out about them shits, they doing work. So this is why you end up feeling abandoned a lot, because you got somebody that's following you around. This person just can't accept that it's over. This person just can't. So that actually is a part of your spirits that you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to, in life, you're going to have to face good and bad. And it's something that you just need to stop being in denial about. A lot of people are just in denial about it. A lot of people would rather discount the whole situation. And see, this has actually been deemed as sort of like a mental illness. It's when, okay, if this doesn't go exactly perfect, then I'm just going to throw the whole thing away. So this is what the world has been doing within itself. Okay, what they'll do is they'll have a couple of bad experiences that are because of either cursing spirits and entities, or either something they bought in from the previous life, which is probably both, because a lot of you guys will have a repeating cycle in each life. Okay. And so what they'll do is, what a lot of people will do is they will discount the entire world. They'll say, oh, the world is just so bad. No, your world is bad because you haven't faced it. You haven't dealt with it. Okay. And if you don't know how to deal with it, which a lot of people don't, a lot of my rituals and spiritual knowledge came from within. I always gravitated towards candle magic. And other stuff. Okay. But a lot of my rituals I get automatically, and you use what you have. But a lot of people have absolutely no idea who they're dealing with because you're closed off. The whole point of them closing off your third eye and putting all that stuff inside of your body was so that you would not be able to see it, so that you would get confused and you would say things like, oh, the whole world is messed up and it's just messed up. Hey, kiss, kiss, hello. And so this is actually very counterproductive. The longer and longer that you live within that confusion, you're going to continue to have that repeating negative cycle, and you're going to continue to be upset, angry, disappointed, and sad and mad every day. Okay, and this actually goes along with the demon of poverty as well. Because the problem is that a lot of women don't have their helpmate, and a lot of men don't have it. And the reason why a lot of men don't have it is because they're running around here with toxic masculinity. Because women are the gatekeepers. A lot of us are the ones that are going to react to the male's crazy spirits. So if you're a woman and you're with a man, you're going to have to deal with his spirits no matter what, no matter who it is. You're still going to have to deal with male spirits. Okay, because these particular entities, which a lot of people will say, well, it's Jezebel, it's it's Lilith, it's a succubus, it's this and that, which in that case it very well could be. And you have to have a spiritualist that knows how to deal with a succubus's energy. So you can't just go out there and go, I'm just going to make up my mind to do that, because what happens each time? The same thing happens every time. Okay. And so I do have the Black Widow Enchantment curse removal available on the website. I think a lot of women need to look into that, because it's not about controlling the man. It's about controlling your own mind and controlling yourself. Okay. Especially if you have spiritual gifts, you can be sending negative messages to somebody. And see, when I'm around you, I can hear the negative entities and the negative spirits speaking. I can hear them. It's not that I'm hearing voices. I just can hear them and what they're saying. Okay. And I'm going to start sharing with more people as far as what I'm hearing and what I'm picking up on. So what I do with those hex and curse removals is I work on you. That's who you're essentially working on, because everybody has to be responsible for their own spirits. Okay, even if it was something that was put on you, you still have to hold yourself responsible. A lot of people will say, well, this is not fair that somebody else was able to put this on me and now I got to go and pay to get it removed. You probably should have got it removed 10 or 20 years ago then. You see what I'm saying? Because they know the struggle. A lot of people know the struggle, especially if they talk to your mama or somebody, and some people just know it just by looking at you. So they already know what's going on with you. And they're thinking, how can I take advantage of that? How can I capitalize off of that? Right? Because you know that when you are in a relationship with your man or whatever it is, y'all may have healing energy between the two of you, but then that entity is waiting in the darkness, and it's waiting because it knows the love that you produce and it wants it. So a lot of y'all, it's just that. And you'll be thinking, damn, what happened again? And then you'll go through this same repeating cycle, including physical abuse, verbal abuse, as well as spiritual abuse. If you are a man and you are a Christian, or you are under one of those toxic masculine religions, then that is spiritually abusing the woman. It's spiritual abuse. And we're finding out now that you're not just abusing the woman, you're also abusing the men. Hey, free spirit, how are you? You're welcome, kiss, kiss. So what you have to do is, a lot of y'all, either you can do the work for yourself or you can get a spiritual consultation with somebody that can help you. And life will get better once you start to understand those cycles that are repeating in your life. And you go, wait a minute, I've been here before. It's almost like deja vu when you like, hold on. And then a lot of y'all can't, you don't want to see, and you're being encouraged to not connect the dots. You're being encouraged to not connect those dots by the people around you and by their spirit. So you're going to be encouraged by some of the most, the most important people in your life are going to be encouraging that. And they're going to go, no, don't tie that in with that. No, you're being paranoid. No. See, it's called intuition for a reason, because it's about your intuition. So that's when you have to say, no, something ain't right here. And then a lot of you can be living in another person's reality as well. So there's a such thing as spiritual transference. There's also a such thing as somebody trying to steal your spiritual energy. So we've got a lot of different things that are happening. In particular, if you know how to do the work, and those negative spirits, they don't let go easily. They will fight for the right to stalk, harass, and take from you. And you just got to stand up to them, because they'll take your whole life. And the next thing you know, you'll be in your 30s and 40s. That's why I'm here warning y'all about this. I didn't see it until I was well into my 30s. I saw it when I was in my late 20s, but there was way too much energy working against me. I mean, they were hovering. My spirits, which were, some of them were protecting me, but then it was also other spirits. And believe it or not, some of y'all, it could be a corporation. Some of y'all, it could be a corporation. Some of y'all, it could be an actual church. Some of y'all, it can be the church. A lot of y'all, it's the church itself. Because who do you see in the church, especially Black churches? Single women. Single women. And the church began to show its ugly and true colors when it began to throw single women and single mothers out of the church. And so that's when people got smarter. They said, wait a minute, this don't feel like this is an all-loving God. This is something else. Okay? And really what they did was they just ran them to another church, some of them. They're actually talking about it on CNN about how so many people are not religious these days. And they said that the numbers are so high that they've never seen anything like this before. And you know that a lot of those churches and stuff, they know those statistics because they're watching them. Right? And it's about what is getting people results, and as far as with their spiritual selves. And so the problem is that when it's a scam, and if it's an obvious scam, then people can see that. People are smart. Okay, people know when they're getting scammed. You heard me? And there's a lot of people that are being scammed out there, even by some of these spiritualists, because some of these spiritualists don't actually believe in what they do. They'll do a spell for you and they'll go right in there and they'll ask for forgiveness from Jesus. That's what they'll do. So that's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. A spirit spouse, you need to banish that spirit. Listen, don't banish it. I don't want to say banish it. It just depends. Have you ever tried to work with that spirit? You got to come and get a reading. The person in the chat room said, "Hi, good afternoon. I'm new. I would like to actually question what is a spirit spouse, because I've been dreaming a lot about sleep with someone. I have had that same problem with me and my husband as a constant confusion." So what you have is some kind of entity. Are you married? If you're married, it's got to be some kind of entity. It's got to be. Or it could just be. But if you're saying that it's a spirit spouse, listen, y'all be careful with all that spirit stuff. And no, a spouse should be there. I would be careful with that. You need to find out what that is. Because it sounds like to me it's trying to push you away from your husband. So there's no such thing as a spirit spouse unless it's a twin flame energy. And if it has not manifested in the physical, then you got to try to bring it into the physical. I wouldn't just want a spirit spouse. No, because I need somebody to take this trash out. I need somebody to come over here and help me out, with the dishes. And I need somebody to hold me and hug me. Because so be careful with the spirit spouses, y'all. Be careful. Be careful with that. Okay. I heard about sex demons. They come to you in your dreams and try to entice you to sleep with them to break up your relationship with your partner. There's and it's, yeah, they do. But some people can have those spirits following them around. And it might be a lover that is from your past life that has not manifested into this physical. And you can actually bring that into the physical. But if you're already married, it would be advised against that if you're already married. So you have to tell that spirit, look, we had something going on in this lifetime, but not in this one. You got to go. Okay, especially if you happy in your relationship. If you happy together and you happy together and something is trying to come in and spoil it, that's exactly what will happen. Exactly what Tamika folks said. A spirit husband. And you know what? It depends on, like, if you're single or if you with somebody. If your husband is providing for you and you're happy, then basically what it's doing is it's trespassing. You need to get some mugwort. It's really important for y'all to sleep with mugwort under your pillow, especially if you are a telepath or an empath. So sleeping with mugwort, and then even vervain, mix of vervain and mugwort, because especially if that spirit is draining you of your energy, then that's a problem. Because a person that can't be there for you, they can't be your husband if they can't be there for you. That's impossible. Relationships have to be fulfilling physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. All of those elements have to come into play. So that's a very selfish person that just wants you to be connected to them, but they can't be there for you in the physical. So anyway, you guys, I've got to go because I have a reading coming up. Yeah. I got to go, you guys. I will see y'all later. Have a wonderful Saturday. Love and light and blessings.